Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 54 of the Coffee Club podcast. Back with the same setup as yesterday. It worked really well. We got a really cool studio now with a sign behind us, Coffee Club, in case you forget which podcast you're listening to. So that's a nice update for us.
Broke the budget.
Yeah,
let's be real.
That set us back pretty far.
I don't know how we're gonna financially recover from this, but hopefully, we see some sort of upward trend.
It's an investment.
Huge capital investment.
Yeah. I was a bit umming and ahhing about it. It looks fantastic, but like the cost of
sometimes you have to take a risk.
Yeah,
we voted on it, and
it's like a graphic. I mean,
yeah. Hey, it's better than what we had before, so we'll take it. But yeah, it's been a real chill week for us. It's funny when we do these this time of year because almost nothing is happening running wise in our lives. It's like very exciting, but I guess it's interesting in a different way because we're in that stage where we all just started running every single day and just like slowly getting back into it. So that's like challenging in its own way, different from our usual challenges. But before we get into it more, we should introduce our guest today, Mr. Mario Garcia Romo. How you doing, bro?
I'm good. Happy to be here.
Very happy to have him on. He's been talking about coming on for a little bit. I think having Mario on, we almost have had everyone on the team on. I think we've had everyone. I could be missing some people, but maybe everyone except Jonas.
I guess Cinta, maybe.
We had Cinta on technically.
Oh, yeah, Cinta, yeah.
Briefly.
We haven't had Jonas. Have we had Carmela on?
Not Carmela either.
Yeah. So that's...
Helena Berry.
Helena
Berry was saving for a special moment.
Tough to tie down.
She's going to be hard to pull down, I think. She's a bit too... Yeah.
She was good on
too high market.
She was good on Citrus Mag.
Yeah, she was good.
She crushed that.
Yeah, I wonder how much they paid her to do that.
Fuck, if she's on Citrus Mag, then we need to get her on our podcast as well.
I know.
But so it's nice to have Mario here. He obviously just moved in with us, just moved back to America, I guess, after being back home for his off-season break. So very nice to have him here getting back into it with us. We're very excited to train together and all that. But Mario is a little bit ahead of us in terms of the return to running. How's it been going for you? Because I know you're like you like to do stuff. You know?
Yeah, it's been a little boring, honestly. I went home and there's not much to do, so it was nice to just start running again. But yeah, I was just excited to come here and like be running with people because I've been running by myself every single day. But it's been good. Only sore break for me, honestly, because I'm used to taking like 3 weeks, 2 weeks, and now I'm taking like 5 days and then a week of easy running. So it's different, but definitely feeling better than every other year and feeling ready to just jump into workouts and kind of like start getting mileage in. So
yeah, I think we talked about it a bit. Like I think all of us used to take bigger breaks as well, but now with Ritz we take shorter ones, and it actually for me it's been feeling really good. Ollie, George, and I think we all did strides for the first time today. Did you do strides today, Ollie? As I said that, I was like, I don't know if Ollie did them.
I did strides today, but I did my usual 3.
Yeah, well, I only did 4. So
yeah,
dude, they were. I did them on the curve treadmill today, and I don't know if you've ever run on that, Mario, but if
I run on that. Yeah.
It's really fun to run on, but here you get like really lactic on it. It makes you really tired. I felt like the most unfit I've felt in my comeback today. It was pretty brutal.
I was running with George, and George was going so fast. I didn't say anything, but you were going very fast.
Oh, George was cooking.
Yeah.
Wait, the strides?
In the strides.
Oh, the strides.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess I was like, well, yeah, I just keep up with him.
Well, I've been sneaking in some strides before today. Yeah. This isn't actually my first day, I had to admit.
No way.
Yeah.
But
I've actually had them on my plan though. I don't know if maybe we haven't talked about this much, but me and Morgan are the opposite when it comes to like what we like to do to get back into it. Morgan loves his easy running, just getting in the mileage. I feel so bad easy running, like I hate it. And maybe it's because for so many years I did like no easy running, and I'd take 2 days off, have like 3 big days, and like 2 of them were workouts. So like I would barely do any easy running. So now I just feel terrible. Like those 2 weeks at like pin relays where I could only jog because of my hip flexor thing. Like I came off feeling so bad. So I have to run fast, at least just a little bit. Like, so I've been getting in some strides.
Yeah.
I actually had them on, which I haven't done, but I had them on my, I don't know what your guys' final search said, but I had them on my off days. It would say like go for a hike or do something and then do strides.
That's interesting.
Which I didn't really do, but I was getting in a little more faster stuff at the end of running.
Yeah.
I just feel so bad if I don't run fast.
We are on the same page for that, I would say. I like a lot of easy running, but I like to do strides as early as possible. It's just more like the workouts I like to take time to get into because I think that's more taxing. But I think strides are like the best thing you can do for your body to get it going again. And it's funny, we used to in Wisconsin, we didn't really do strides as much. We would do a lot of 200s, and we absolutely loved doing 200s. We would always talk about how good do you think you could be if you only ran miles and then did 200s twice a week, like 6 to 8 by 200s twice a week, and just mileage apart from that. And we were wondering like how good you could get. I feel like
you can get pretty good.
I feel like pretty good. Yeah. Okay, maybe not 6 to 8, but if you could only do 200s, because you could do like a lot.
Yeah. And you can do 200s in a lot of different ways as well.
Yeah, you can do a 30, you can do like 24. Yeah. I mean, I bet you can run a pretty good 1500 just in the...
I think you could be a sub 4 miler.
How fast are you allowed to run on easy runs though? Are you allowed to turn some of them into like...
I don't think you can go under, let's
530 pace. Nope. If you go under 530, it goes into the workout area.
Yeah.
I reckon that's
unless they're 200 meter intervals on a regular run. So you just do a regular run, but then you change it to 200 intervals under 530 pace with short rest. And just keep doing that.
So because you could game that.
You could literally,
so much
you could make like so many variations of it. Just not on the track, on the grass, to hills. You could that would actually be an interesting experiment to see like a college kid just do that for a year and see how good he is at cross, indoor, outdoor track. And doesn't change it, just does that, but variations of it. It'd be pretty boring, I reckon.
Yeah.
I feel like Mario could get really good just running 200s. I don't know why.
And Yared too. Yared as well. I think Yared would also be really good. This reminds me
that for some reason we knew nothing about Ole Miss, but we would always joke about Ole Miss as only running 200s and 300s.
Honestly, I didn't do 200s last year at all.
Really?
Not a single day. I mean, I would do them at like the end of the workout, but not like 200 repeats only.
Yeah, probably because you guys had a lot of good milers and like didn't focus as much on cross as we did.
NAU was joking about that while they were in their fourth triple threshold day.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was just joking about how like no one does any actual like training compared to NAU. No one else, like, and Ole Miss, like you guys are training.
They're not wrong
compared to NAU people. I'm imagining because they're on their quadruple threshold and Mike's yelling at them to go to sleep. So I imagine that Ole Miss is much more.
I mean, it's
more middle distance based.
It's definitely more middle distance based, but I would say during cross country season we will do like long tempos and long repeats. So it would be like
I feel like everyone does.
Yeah.
You don't even need to do a workout in freaking Oxford, Mississippi. If you go run in that heat and humidity, that'll get you so
poor man's altitude. Yeah. I really think it works, honestly.
I agree.
I'm excited to see altitude in like what altitude feels like for a year long, but I definitely think humidity is also like good conditions for workout.
I think it's a lot harder because I think altitude, you do adapt to the altitude and it's pretty like reliable. You know what's going to be harder to do in altitude and you often change your workouts, whereas heat and humidity isn't as reliable. So in my experience, at least, like I haven't done a great job at adapting workouts for heat and humidity, and it's just that your body does also adapt to that, but not in the same way. It's still going to be like if you're trying to do like a long threshold in heat and humidity, at some point I feel like you're never going to get good at that. Whereas I feel like at altitude, you can find like a nice groove where it's like, I don't know, you know what to expect and you can kind of like still crush it. But yeah, I always felt like Wisconsin during the summer was like an amazing place to train. Obviously, it's like way colder than I imagine Mississippi is, but that's kind of nice. It's like 80 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit, which is like just below 30 degrees Celsius and like, but a lot of humidity. And then if you go run on the grass as well there, because the grass is really soft in Wisconsin in the summer, that's like some of the hardest workouts I've ever had, and that'll get you really fit for cross. So that was always good. But yeah, I've also I do find it really interesting all the different versions of strides. Going back to the 200s, we would do, have I told you guys this, at Wisconsin, we would do 400s on Mondays.
Yeah, they sound nice.
It was so good. It was the most satisfying thing ever. You would do long run Sunday, and then Monday you would do like a shorter run, but then you would go to the track and you would do maybe 6 by 400, but just at 75 seconds with 100 jog in between them. So it doesn't feel hard at all, but it gets your body going really good to do a workout the next day. And also you barely have to run, because say you do 6 miles before that, then you'll get in, I don't know, like 2 miles or whatever on the track, and it just makes it like go by so easy.
400s at threshold feels so good.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty much, a lot of people do that before, like day before races as a pre-meet, and day before workout is kind of the same thing. It does like feel really good.
Yeah.
I honestly like to do them before races. Like for the warm up, I would do like a couple longer strides, but I've been thinking like maybe like 400s is a good idea, just to like warm your body and like not jumping into the race like without doing anything before.
Yeah, I've definitely been training towards that as well. I'm wondering if do you do anything like that, Ollie? Because obviously your race pace is so quick.
I'm training the opposite way.
Yeah.
I don't like doing anything. Like I'll like minimize as much as I can do before the race, because I feel like it might be different. Actually, it might not be a good thing.
Well, you're a different beast, man.
It might not be a good thing, but I do like the shock I get, because it actually, for me personally, the past like 2 years of running at that kind of like at that high level, I feel like when I have that shock, the adrenaline kicks in for me, and my brain's a scrambled egg most of the time. A lot of head noise. But when I do that, I feel like I'm pretty focused. Like it's able to clear my mind, because the shock hits me and I'm like, okay, I'm racing, I'm ready to go. This is it. This is how it feels. So like when I go in before a race, I usually do like 20-minute jog, drills, Ollie's version of drills, and then I'll do like a couple of strides, and I'll do a couple of strides in the track, and then I feel like I'm ready.
Yeah.
So, but I actually see what Mario does. I think pretty much the majority of the top 1500 meter runners in the world do exactly what Mario's doing, which is like that longer.
Something quicker.
Yeah, because Jakob does that.
Dude, I reckon Jakob does like a mile.
Yeah, Jakob does
if not more. He does so much.
He just warms up really quick.
He does.
Maybe it's just the end of his warm up.
No, he does his warm up, then does a mile, and then he'll do like a couple of 200s, and then he'll go to do strides.
Like he looks like he's sprinting sometimes.
He is sprinting pretty much for most people.
It really sucks when you're. I think this happened one time with him. I was warming up in the opposite direction to him, and then he was just getting so much further, like
around.
Yeah, you know how you like hope that you're gonna meet at the same point.
Yeah,
he was just catching me so bad. I was like, "Fuck."
That happened to me at World Championships in the semifinal. Well, I raced with him like every single race. So every single time I would warm up at the same time, and we would warm up in opposite directions, and he would be like far away from me. And I was running pretty fast. I was like, how fast is this guy running? Like, that just mentally like is.
Yeah, he's just warming up. That's his warm up. But like most, like Josh Kerr does that warm up that Mario does. Yeah. I don't actually know if Whiteman warms up like that. I think he might warm up like me.
Yeah.
A little bit less. But most 1500 meter runners now do that, because I think, like Mario says, it gets your body like ready and much more prepared. Which is probably the best way to do it. I think the way I do it probably isn't ideal, but it works for me right now. But I think the trend is going towards that type of warm up.
I mean,
preparedness, particularly for races like the way the 1500 meters run now. I think those type of races are just going to encourage more people to be able to warm up in that type of setting, because it just gets you more prepared for that kind of shock when you hit a 1500 meter race that's going out in 151.
Yeah.
So.
But the thing is, like, you're confident doing it, so it doesn't really matter, because I've seen you turn up to a workout so many times and just turn up, warm up, do like not many drills, not many strides, and then go run a 56 400, essentially race pace or whatever, and look really fine, like really casual. Like that's just what you do like multiple times a week, so it's like easy. Whereas just speaking from personal experience, if I was doing a workout and I knew I had to run a 56 400 as my first rep, I would be pretty nervous about that. I would know that like that's like for me, like that's pretty focused, pretty dialed in. Like I would really feel like I had to go and do say like some 200s before it at that pace, you know. Like if it's one of those big ones where I'm like I really want to like hit
you
this.
You gotta prepare yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And so like that's where like say if I warm up, sometimes I warm up really slow. It's like sometimes I'm running like 7:30 or even like 8-minute pace. I'm just like
Kenyan shuffle.
Yeah, I'm just like fuck. If I don't do something like a little bit quicker, like I'm pretty scared.
It's gonna feel all out.
I'm pretty scared for the first lap of this race that it's gonna be terrible. So that's kind of like where I come from. But for you, it's like if you're confident doing it and you do it so much, it's like what's the big issue?
I think the main point is it's worked for me so far. We'll just wait and see when it eventually stops working for me and I have to change my my setup. But yeah, I mean it's gonna be interesting having we have Mario, Yared, the rest of the boys obviously, and myself. But like we have a really strong 1500 meter team now, so I can imagine those 1500 meter workouts are going to be pretty insane.
Yeah, pretty spicy.
I mean, they already were.
They already were.
They already have been pretty crazy. But even having like Yared jump in, I think before we went to to Europe, and he just drops a 38, 300 really casually.
And he was trying to run a 42.
He's trying to run a 40. He was trying to run a 40.
Oh, 40.
He ran a 38, and he looked like he was out for a trot, and it was embarrassing how George and I were like trying to hang on. And like George and I are, extremely good middle distance runners. And I was just making us look like absolute trash.
Dude, I was just impressed that we made him nervous enough to run a 38.
To push it to that level. But it's going to be pretty cool now having Mario in and then getting Yarrow back. Everyone in Boulder, like those type of workouts. Particularly now because we're going to be doing like a lot of longer stuff, obviously.
The fall is going to be so fun.
Fall training is going to be pretty fun because we're all together, all grinding it out. But when it gets to that specific training, it's going to be pretty cool to see how that turns out, because it's just going to be, I reckon it's just going to be nuts. I think some of the stuff, like Dathan's just going to be freaking out about some of the stuff we do. So it's exciting.
He's going to pretend to hold us back.
Yeah. But he's actually just wanting everyone to rip. Like he's winking at Yao and saying, yeah, go on, do it to him.
I mean, Dathan's so funny. Like when I'm watching Ollie work out and Dathan, I'm like, I go ask Dathan, like, hey, what's Ollie got today? Dathan will literally say like, yeah, I gave him an 800 and 156, so he'll probably run in 153. It's like literally like calculated,
He's calculated to like put it to a point where he's like, I want Ollie to run 153 here, so he's going to run 156.
I gotta tell him 156.
Because otherwise, if he says 153, he'll try and run 150. So you have to like offset a little bit.
3 second gap, yeah.
I think he does the same thing with Monson.
Yeah,
I think he does.
And I think, Joe's on point with pacing usually.
Most of the time Joe is, except when Joe has the threshold ones where it's like, just do whatever, Joe.
Yeah.
And then he runs really quick.
Yeah, and then he just goes for it.
But yeah, Dathan's got us all figured out pretty well up to this point. But yeah, it'll be interesting when he figures out Yard, because Yard's just funny because he'll tell you right before it, he'll be like, yeah, just so you know, like I'm really bad at pacing. Like I'm probably going to get really quick, because that's what he did to me as well. And then he doesn't look like he's like going that quick, but suddenly, like split second, he's just going so quick.
It's always just in the first like 50 meters. He just books it the first 50. He's like Carlos. Yeah. Carlos used to do that.
Book the first 100, yeah.
Like, he's such a good
pacer.
Put
money in the bank.
In like races, like he's such a good pacer. Like he goes even every single time.
It's
like,
true.
I raced the DMR with him, and he was so even until the last 200 meters where he just changed gears and like drop out 25 last 200. But like he's always so even, like 57. That's I don't understand that.
He's just too good, I guess, in training. He just has to go fast so they feel something. I don't know. But yeah, so if you can't tell, we're all very excited for the upcoming training, especially the fall training. I remember personally last year, I was so sad to be on the sideline. I was just like running 30 miles a week while these guys were ripping these big fartleks and all these like cool long runs and stuff. So I think it's going to be amazing this year. Everyone's healthy. Everyone will be together. So yeah, I would say this is week 2 or 3 of us being back running, and things are going smooth so far. Haven't messed it up yet. It's still a nice spot where we're able to go do some other activities in our life and not feel terrible for training the next day, like going on some hikes and stuff. Take advantage of living in Colorado, so that's been really cool. The next kind of update is our Gala update, which is, I'm trying to get like a bit of a thermometer on the Gala. Like what are we at right now? I can't even tell. It seems like it's cooled off a little bit, which at this point it should be getting pretty hot because it's meant to be next like 1 week, right?
I personally think it's going to get hot after Bank. Okay. After we go to Bank, I think the big thing for us is the Gala.
Like
but
the 7-day countdown.
Like my mental state is all on Bank, where that's all I'm thinking about. Is like, oh, that's going to be an amazing time.
Yeah.
And then as soon as Bank, that time and memory is sealed in my brain for
forever.
I'll open up to the Gala, but it definitely. Throttle. I think it's definitely. Because we got a message from Katie, our landlord.
Wow, I didn't know we were talking about this today.
And the situations have arose, and like I think that also is like affected maybe
put a little down.
Yeah, put a little down the Gala maybe.
The short of that is that we're getting kicked out of this house in a couple months.
Yeah, so
we don't want to talk about it.
We don't want to talk about it, but essentially we're getting kicked out of the place that we've just moved into.
Unfortunate circumstances, not our fault.
Yeah, something that we're going to hopefully be sorting out in the next few weeks. However, that factor that's just happened to us a few days ago, I think, has affected how we feel about the Gala, because
house vibes.
It's just it's not. It feels like now we don't belong in this house anymore, so it's kind of weird. So I mean, I think it's gonna pick up eventually. We just got to put effort into it, and I know for a fact now. My brother's still here. having a great time. And when he leaves on Saturday...
It's going to be another downer, though.
Yeah, Chris leaving. It's going to be shocking. I'm going to miss him already.
You're going to be depressed.
On Saturday at 7 p.m. when Christo takes off, all my focus, concentration, energy, my zen is going to be focused on making sure that this gala goes ahead, hype it up way too much, overhype it to the point that I will be disappointed on the night.
Perfect.
And make sure that energy's there. So I think the gala right now is being pushed on the back pedal for a good reason, because we're going to bring it up
tomorrow night, for anyone who's wondering.
Yeah, we're going to bring it up. It's going to get going. And I talked to Gus about it, and he feels that, you know, he wants to dress up, he wants to have a good time. He said he wants everyone there because he's usually left alone, staring out the window, waiting for us to come back. So, you know, I want to do it well for him. I want to do a gala well for Gus. So we'll sort it out. It should be fine.
Do you think he enjoyed last year's gala?
Absolutely not.
No.
He loved it.
He was chasing
first,
ping pong balls.
Yeah.
Wasn't he?
Yeah.
Was it ping pong balls? Yeah.
The first couple of hours he did, but then apparently after that, like, he was like,
did he get too drunk?
People giving him drinks and stuff, and I was scared. He's got a lot of weight in him, so he's probably a heavyweight, but I was scared. And then he apparently was a bit scared of all the noise going on upstairs. I think it was during the pumpkin debacle, where the pumpkin was getting thrown everywhere.
Pumpkin smashing
by an assailant. And I just all of a sudden got up, grabbed him and cuddled with him in bed and calmed him down, and then we went to bed at like midnight or 1 a.m.
Yeah,
because he needed the R&R. He was a bit traumatized. But I think the initial first couple of hours he loved it. But he thinks, because it's a big backyard and it's a nice house, I think he's excited because he's got space to get away. You know, people getting autographs and photos with him. He wants to be able to have his own space.
That'd be good.
He said to me. So, and he said it's good place to have a party because he can kind of scurry away.
Are we gonna let people bring their dogs because we have a big backyard? Because I'm against that.
No, I don't think. Like the reason why Gus is here is because this is his house. This is Gus's house. I don't want other dogs coming in here because then we are liable and responsible for a dog like choking or something, or like drinking something, or taking a poo on the floor. If it's not Gus, if it is Gus, you know, it's my responsibility.
It's his house, so he can
it's
do
his
what he
house.
wants.
He can do whatever the hell he wants.
Yeah.
But no dogs at the gala. There was no dogs last year, much to people's dismay. But there'll be no dogs at this gala. Just good times, great beats. And
hope so.
They can bring their dogs to the house the other 364 days of the year. This is the only day of the year.
It's not going to be 364 days because we're going to be out of here very soon. But yeah, like it's going to be. I think it'll be fun. It'll be a fun time. We definitely overhyped it last year, I think, but this year, I think, you know, Coffee Club's been a year. It's a pretty nice house. I think we've created more friendship groups in Boulder.
I hope so. I don't know. I guess
we'll
find out.
I'm relying on that to hopefully able to push it. Also, it would have been fantastic for Chris to be here because we didn't mention on the pod last time, but Christo's actually a very sociable person and he's very good at bringing people in. So if Christo was out there handing out flyers outside Risotto Hall to get, you know, these people, like he'd pick the right people to come to the party, he'd 100% get like 100
people. He'd be the best party ever.
Oh yeah, he'd do a great job. But I think it'll be good. I've got good hopes.
What are we going to do to Manhattan if he puts another hole in our house?
Gus will put a hole in him.
I like that.
We'll sit Gus on him.
Actually, honestly, if he puts a hole in the house, I don't really care. No, I would. That's a joke. Of course, I care. Yeah, that'll be interesting. I mean, because I think damage-wise, like we're trying to push it more of an outside thing, right?
Yeah. But nothing's stopping him kicking a hole in the outside of the house. I wouldn't put it past him.
I wouldn't put it past him to break through the barn or something like that too. So.
Yeah.
No, I just want to see people having a great time. Hopefully, Helena Berry comes and has a few Helena Berries.
I'll be shocked if Helena Berry comes.
See, the thing is, this is what I think would happen.
We'll make sure she gets an invite. Though.
Yeah, she definitely will. But the thing is, Helena would probably come with Dathan for Dathan would have one drink and she'd hang around and meet the team, and then she'd leave after an hour.
That'd be kind of cool.
Which would be great because we get to see her. We haven't really seen her much since she's moved into Boulder. So.
Yeah, I don't think I said this on the podcast, but the one time I met her, I think she was convinced I wasn't a runner. She was like, why is this guy talking to me? And Dathan's like, no, that's your teammate. I was like, she was just like, oh, okay, he doesn't look like it.
Well, when I spoke to her,
too chill.
I was speaking to her in the car on the way to pre-meet. You were there as well.
Yeah.
And she was asking about like all these questions. And I was talking about like Tim Chariot. And she's like, how do you know Tim? And I was like, I race against Tim. And she's like, what event do you run? I was like, well, Tim runs the 1500. So I run the 1500 as well. And then Dathan was explaining to her that I'm like also like part of the team. And
This guy actually beats him quite often.
And she didn't know who I was. And then she, I think we're at the track and she asked me, she's like, oh, what's your PR in the mile? And I said 3:47. And she looked at me and she said, in the mile, because I think she thought I was talking the 1500.
Yeah,
and I said, no, funny. In the mile. And she looked at me and she was like now very curious. It's like, how do I not know who you are? Which is fair enough, because like I feel like when you come across runners, sometimes it falls out of memory. So I'll give her that one. But yeah, I still want to have a Helena Berry with Helena Berry. Like that's a goal. That's I have to tick that box off, you know. Yeah. So hopefully in the gala, I'll have a Helena Berry with Helena Berry, which means I'll just have a beer and Helena's right there, and then life is complete.
If that's the way she thinks about you, she's gonna think I'm like the water boy.
Honestly, she probably thinks everybody on the men's team is literally there just to train with her, like just to.
Well, dude, based on the workouts she's doing right now, I don't even think we could if we wanted to. The ones that Dathan told me was 35K at 5:45 pace on like the hilly loops, and then the other one is she did the fartlek that we do, like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, but then she went back up again, so she did it twice, and she averaged in the 5:30s for the whole thing.
Jeez.
Which like, if we did
isn't there like an hour and a half of running?
It was very long, and it was like 5:30s for that is like crazy.
I did hear before she left Kenya, she ran 15 times a K in 2:55.
Yeah,
like 440 per mile pace for 15K.
Apparently, Kurt, our physio, was telling me that because Kurt himself is like 217, 218 marathoner, so he knows a lot of guys around that level. And Dathan went to him to ask for training partners for her, and he said that she's just been like siphoning through them, like they'll
putting them in the ground.
Yeah,
they're sparring partners.
They'll try and hop in for a workout, and they'll just get destroyed, and then she'll need a new one every time because there's like the way she's training. If you're like a guy like 218 marathoner, you can't do the workouts that she's doing. Like maybe, but like the workouts she's doing are such a high level. Even if you're like a good male marathoner.
Yeah, there's a reason why she's one of the best female distance runners ever. Like she's like proving it in her training, and it's pretty crazy to kind of go past it and think, wow, like she's going to be dropping us in pretty much every long run except for Joe will probably try and hang on.
I'm excited to see that battle.
Joe versus Helena Berry.
Well, no, Joe, Helen, and Alicia. Seeing that battle in a long run, I would actually prefer to just pretend I'm injured and get in the car and just watch it. Like, it would be the coolest thing ever. And it'd be very funny to see if Helen was like pushing Joe to the limit where Joe's like, fuck, I don't know if I can do this anymore. Like, breaking Joe would be like the epitome of just...
On a long run.
It would be the epitome. Like, I don't think
thing ever.
That'd be like making a stone bleed. It'd be the craziest shit I've ever seen. So I am very much looking forward to that from Helena Berry.
Yeah. I wonder if we're even going to train with her. Wouldn't it be funny if Dathan makes us get on her training schedule? For anyone at home listening, she runs at 6:15 a.m. in the morning.
So Dathan has to wake up at 5, I think, to start the day.
Yeah, we don't train at 6:15.
Luckily, I think Dathan already is up at like crazy hours anyway.
But
we don't get out the door by like 8 ever, really.
I'm struggling to get out of bed at the moment. I'm really struggling. My brother and I are having a good time in Colorado, and it's wearing me down.
Yeah,
which is good.
It's a time for it.
It's a time for it, but I'll be looking at my alarm at 7:30. It's like, why am I setting an alarm? Why am I doing this to myself?
We could probably get dropped on some doubles by Helen. Maybe we can line up for those.
Yeah, see, I'm feeling good about myself right now, and I don't want to go to that point where she's dropped me on runs. I was like, okay, I don't even have this anymore. I'm just going to go home and like have a beer and cuddle with my dog, which actually sounds pretty good. But yeah, I don't even think I could do doubles with her.
Well, I wonder if she does the Kenyan shuffle. I wonder if she does that, where she does do like 8 minute or 8:30
She does, actually, when we were at the track, between reps, she was jogging around and it looked like she was walking, like slower than walking.
But she runs really fast and then
there's like no in between. It's either you're on or you're off. I was just thinking we should make a beer called Helena Berry. How cool would that be?
Be a great product. We'd probably have to pay her some good money for
think what you guys...
It would be worth it.
Yeah.
How do we put a little headed on there right now?
And then we just sponsor her for it. Comment on it in the video if you guys think it's a good idea.
Comment if you're going to buy it.
How have we not thought of that until now?
Just Helena Berry, and then we just have a little like emblem of Gus on the corner, and then we just have Helen with the beer like this, smiling. With like medals all around her neck.
All right, if any breweries are listeing, you want to do a little collaboration, that'd be a match made in heaven. I think we could probably do that.
It's called the Helena Berry.
Yeah, that's perfect.
But yeah, I mean, I'm excited to just see her train. I think.
Yeah.
It's one of the caliber of athletes that I grew up watching her as a kid, and now like she's on the same team as me, and she's running 43-second 300s.
Yeah.
And I am scared to even step on the track. So that's a cool thing to be thinking about moving into the fall, into the training, meeting up again.
Like at Worlds, I remember like I was just walking with her to the car, and Nathan was telling me like, oh yeah, Helena has won this and this and this and this, and I was talking to her. I was like, damn, this is so cool. This is my favorite World Championship, and I'm talking to like one of the best athletes ever. Yeah. And then like just so casual, like she was so nice and like talking about anything. Like
she got a good sense of humor too. Yeah, very good sense of humor. Yeah. So it's nice to have that kind of talent and being very, very reassured that like she's not, you know, not mean, not nasty. She's just really nice, really open person. So that's like what you want to have in a team with somebody that kind of caliber, is to learn from them and hopefully guide not just the women's team but the men's team too. So but yeah, no, it's been interesting. I don't think Dathan's had a break.
Dathan has not had a break.
So this is a Dathan Rissahan update.
We'll see how he goes.
He has not stopped with the running. Like he went to Great North Run. He's been training with Helen nearly every morning. So really he hasn't had a break, which is, you know, not surprising. I don't think any of us find that surprising at all.
Man's a machine.
Not taking any time off. So.
Yeah. So that's our Helen update, our Dathan update, and our Gala update. Really exciting stuff.
I think Gala's gonna be. Nah, I'm pushing it. The Gala's gonna be good.
Really exciting stuff. So if you're looking at what's happening in the running world, kind of some of the coolest stuff right now is obviously the beginnings of the NCAA cross season, which arguably like the most funnest, coolest, exciting thing that happens in our sport, honestly, is like the NCAA cross season. And it was just it wasn't the first week of cross, but it was the first week of like more serious racing.
First big week.
Yeah, there was the Cowboy Jamboree was the big one that a lot of the hashtag heavy hitter teams were at, including NAU and BYU and Stanford and Oklahoma State. So that's like, I mean, now they're all ranked. That's the top four, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they were all racing. So it's kind of, honestly, we didn't ever do it at Wisconsin. I feel like it's pretty tough to start racing like the best competition that early in the season. But overall, I mean, it's just cool to see the competition back. I don't know if like we're not necessarily the best authority because I don't think we pay that much attention, but we'll give our best takes on it. It was NAU came third, right? Or fourth?
Yeah, third. Probably the lowest finish in a few years in any meet. I assume.
I mean, they're so consistent normally.
Mike will not be happy with that one. Michael's probably in his office right now calculating every factor of that race to analyze and report back to the boys. There will be a binder involved.
How many more thresholds?
How many more thresholds they need to make up the difference?
You know what? Maybe he's thinking, well, we got this amazing facility now, and the boys are running worse. So maybe we should just get rid of the facility and go back to our roots.
What if he just starts banning the facility? Starts banning the woodways.
Could see him doing that. I mean, I see boys doing strides and cool tempos on that sort of stuff. It looks amazing, but maybe it's just making them soft. Maybe Michael's thinking, you know what? This is not what I'm about. You know, it's all about chopping wood and carrying water, and this is not chopping wood, carrying water. This is going to IKEA and buying timber. It's not the same.
You cheated.
There's a cheat involved. Like, we're not going to IKEA for Swedish meatballs. We're going to, you know, the NCAA to win a title.
Yeah.
So might as well just go back to our roots, get rid of the gym, get rid of all the nice fancy facilities, put Luis and Abdi in the ring and just beat up the boys and get them ready for the next one.
Yeah, we're calling Woodway Fitness is IKEA Fitness.
The IKEA cheat code. Yeah, I mean, like, come on, man.
Feels good, looks good, but
the way Michael resonates to me is that everything has to be done the way it should be, and he's now transitioned to all this big budget, you know, fancy, cushy kind of situation. It doesn't feel like Michael to me. Michael feels like, you know, what he's been doing, you know.
Back to
chop wood, carry water. Back to the basics. Back to the simple things. Quadruple thresholds. You know.
Dude, we used to just run up mountains in the rain.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
We didn't used to be able to do the treadmill hills. You had to find a real hill outside.
Yeah. Well, I think it's making the boys soft. And like you know, I don't have any stake in this claim.
Do you think they can come back from it though by November?
Yeah. NAU 100% because you know why? Because they have Michael Smith.
They can do anything.
I mean, I don't see them not being able to. I think I could see them running for Congress. I mean, they've got a fantastic base, well-spoken, cult following, which seems to be working well in the White House from previous years. So I think Michael could honestly run for president if he wanted to. He could probably do president of USATF first. and then see how it goes from there. But honestly, yeah, Michael, I'm sure he's analysing that. He's got a binder out for the boys for the next meeting. They're going to analyse it, go through it in the woods, camping, bonding, resonating with each other.
That would actually be a pretty cool thing if, like, say if the team was doing, I don't think, obviously, they did fine still.
Yeah.
Imagine if they were doing really bad and he was like, all right, fuck it, guys. Like, you guys can't go into class next week. We're going on like a 7-day hike trip. That would be like, I could actually see him doing that. And I could see
letter to the professors saying like, yeah, so my boys got 8th in this very low-key meet at the start of the year. Shouldn't really judge it by anything, but we're going to take 2 weeks off classes because we need to focus for the rest of the year.
Seriously. I could see it, and I could see it working really effectively. Yeah. But dude, the amount that Nico Young posts him running in that gym, it's like he's running there every day.
He probably is.
Yeah.
It must be a really good place to like lean his phone up.
That's true. I guess it's just a lot more practical.
Well, what treadmills do they have? Maybe he's got a partnership with them.
They got the Woodways.
Yeah, so maybe he's got a partnership with Woodway.
8 Woodways and a boost, I think.
He's the most marketable athlete in cross country, 100%.
I think their only option at this point is to crank the altitude up in that room to like 20,000 feet.
Wait, is it an altitude room?
It's pretty. They normally have it down though.
I actually disagree with that. I reckon they should
they should go below sea level.
I reckon they should go below sea level and train so hard they can't walk.
Ultra oxygen training.
And then they go out for the double threshold and they do it at altitude in the dome.
I don't know
at the same pace.
I don't know 99% humidity.
Threshold becomes 4-minute pace.
Yeah, at the same pace.
That's a good move, though. Honestly, I know people that like when they've been injured on the Ultra G, they'll just run like only 4-minute pace. Like they're super injured, so they put it to like 50% body weight and just
sprint.
Just sprint. It's like they're on the moon.
I just see Michael with the bike just yelling at them, was like, "The game has changed, so we have to change too." Like some sort of motivational quote that just resonates in every kid's head, and then they just worship him when they go home. Man. So I think that's what's going to happen. But like third is like. It's the start of the year. Like, it's hard to judge anything. Like,
the standards are so high for them.
Yeah, everybody's like, oh, okay, you know, like, this guy's the best right now. And Oklahoma State guy won, right? What was his name?
Alex Meyer.
Alex Meyer. So he won, right? So then automatically people are like, okay, he's going to win the NCAA championship. Why wouldn't he? He just won this race.
Well, he's someone that you could have already picked, though.
Yeah, but that's what the mindset is, I think. So, like, sometimes when a team comes out, hitting the ground running and like doing really well initially, everyone's like, oh, they're going to be the ones to win, they're going to be the ones to take over, blah blah. But you just never tell because it's just such a long season. So
I mean, the pressure can wear off because you can be the favorite team, like I don't know, like BYU is the favorite team now, and then they can get to the national day and
it's on a Sunday, and then they're screwed.
Yeah,
like that's.
I mean, you know the pressure, like
they're doing so well through that entire year, and then the NCAA national championships on a Sunday. It's like, well, sorry BYU, you guys can't compete. You know, it's tough. They'll just go and wait outside Chick-fil-A until it opens on Monday. But I think it'd be interesting to see how like Wisconsin does, because I think, obviously a bit biased, but Wisconsin did pretty well.
Yeah, I mean recently. They won Roy Griak, and I think they kind of packed it up a bit. I'm not sure, but it looks like they were sticking together all the race. And I mean, I don't know, Roy Griak, I don't know if one point that was a big meet. It's a kind of famous meet because I think it's like a pretty cool one, but the
challenging course.
Yeah, but the competition wasn't quite as good as some of the other meets. But I mean, the Wisconsin boys looked amazing, so not taking anything away from them. Obviously, we want them to break the curse of underperforming at nationals, which Ollie and I started.
We started that curse.
Yeah.
Oh no, wait. Well, I definitely started that curse.
I
think Morgan was in. You were in at least a team that was top 10.
Well, yeah, I was in 2 that were top 10, but
I think I was in 1.
We always had such good potential. That's why it was annoying.
No, I was in 2, I think.
Yeah, I think you were in 2.
But yeah, it was definitely irritating because, I mean, personally, my cross-country track record's pretty bad. Or it's good and bad. I could just go very, very...
hey, same as mine.
Yeah, it's all over the place. But Wisconsin, notorious good cross-country school. And you had the talent, you had the athletes there to actually perform a top 10 or even a top 6 finish.
Top 1.
Top 1, hopefully. I thought the year that you won and I got 15th.
Yeah.
I thought that year we were going to be podium.
I thought we were
100%.
I mean, we were ranked 4th going into that meet.
Yeah. So, we were in great shape. We never been able to pull it off.
And
that was at our home course.
We just choked.
Yeah. Well, we didn't choke.
Yeah, but I don't know.
You won the race.
We're still accountable. We're still accountable. What's a team sport?
Okay. You're not accountable.
Morgan actually should have gone back, picked up the guys, brought them back up.
That's what I had to do.
And then still won.
That's what I had to do. Gavin told me, like, during that, because I was feeling really good, and I was, like, going to try and be with the same leading group with Morgan. Gavin literally said to me, he's like, wait for Olin to catch up and then move through the field together. That was the plan. And then it got to about 5 to 6K, and then Gavin's like, he's not coming, you got to go. And I was like, oh, great. So I have 4K left to catch up, like all these places. But
yeah, I'm not convinced that tactic ever works.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
I should have just committed and went with Morgan, because like if I did, I might have maybe finished a couple places higher. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I don't know how much difference it would have made.
That was what was it like on your guys' team? I feel like the NAU guys race pretty individually in ways, and they just end up together. But I remember early on, like there was this bit of this mentality of like running together, like in the bigger meets, and I'm just like, you just gotta like be an individual and race, and like you doing the best for yourself.
It's a collective.
Is gonna do the best for the team. I don't think it really makes a difference. I don't know.
I think it's about confidence. When you're with your teammates, the people that you train with all year long, you feel capable of doing something.
That's
so
true.
probably that's the biggest reason, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely from a coach's perspective.
Yeah, from a coach perspective. Yeah.
I think in AU we always looked like we ran more together than other teams, but I think that's just because we were already like the best team anyway.
You guys were all at the front together.
You were at the front together. Like, you remember Matt and Tyler in Louisville?
Yeah.
Like, that was insane.
It looks like teamwork, but it's just, no, you guys
That's
are like
just
trying to win the race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, not that I was ever finishing at the front, but that year we had 6 at the front of Nuttycombe. Like, we were 1 through 6 at 5K.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope.
You guys would always crush Nuttycombe, or like, I feel like from that point on.
And then Mix didn't invite us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was always impressed that NAU was like pretty good from the start of the year. I felt generally like when you guys were good at nationals, you guys were always good. I don't know.
I was saying it to Mario this morning, like the fact that they, like the only, don't want to bring this back up, but the only race I ever didn't win as a team was the last one. Like every single year we would just win every meet.
Yeah, I mean you guys were always ranked first.
But then they already lost.
Yeah.
But then that's happened. I think that happened last year too.
Yeah.
Rested a couple of guys.
It's cool that BYU was the one that won, because then it's just the rivalry.
The classic rivalry.
So
every time.
It'll be exciting, and BYU gets so hyped on that stuff. So it'll be.
But we were saying Stanford didn't run boy Kai Robinson.
Yeah.
He's probably a top 10.
I mean, Stanford undoubtedly have one of the best rosters.
Oh,
maybe
easily.
the best roster.
Yeah, by far.
Yeah, with their guys, with Ollie's boy Charles Hicks and the rest of the company.
My boy Charles.
Yeah, so
shout out.
They can be very hard to beat. How are things looking over at Ole Miss, Mario?
Well, we didn't make the top 25 list the last week, but I honestly think, like, talking to the guys, I think like they are gonna qualify for the mid first of all, and then they're gonna like place very well, because I think Smith is like more conservative. Like, he wants to like really get prepared for SECs, regionals, and then nationals. So I think it's just like they're kind of like slowly building up, and I think they're gonna get like in the best shape at the right time. So I'm trusting like the boys, and I'm trusting like they're gonna do well. But yeah, I mean, just I think they finished 15th a couple of January. So it wasn't a great finish maybe, like, but I think they're in the right track. So
it's like, for a school like Ole Miss, is like looking at cross country, is like from a team aspect, is winning SEC is like the biggest goal of the year.
I would say so, and especially just the rivalry with Arkansas and and Alabama, I guess. And
Arkansas normally wins, right?
Yeah, they won like, I don't know how many titles they won, but then we won 2 in a row. Like, that was the craziest thing, because like we won my first year, and I didn't know how important it was, and everybody was like cheering and everything, and I was like, we won.
Similar vibe at Wisconsin. Yeah. Like Big Tens for us is a pretty big deal.
Yeah, I mean, Mick literally says Big Tens and beyond, which means that like Big Tens is what matters first, and then but that's like I think a part of the curse too, is we're so focused on Big Tens. It's an 8K race.
Yeah.
We go to nationals, 10K race, completely different kettle of fish.
Yeah.
And that kettle is carried around loosely by Michael Smith, so it's a very it's a very different.
Is that a real saying, or did you just make that up? A kettle of fish. Like, what does that mean?
I've heard it in passing. I've heard it in passing.
I've never heard it.
Oh, really?
No, I think that was good.
A kettle
I
of
like
fish.
that.
That is
yeah,
really
it's a kettle
good.
of fish, but then,
Mike Smith holds
Mike Smith is carrying that kettle,
Dude, Mike Smith is just the Illuminati, man. He's running everything.
But going to the debate 8K versus 10K, I think 10K benefits like distance schools more than mid distance. Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
So like, like for a more mid distance heavy school like Ole Miss, it's just like harder to run 10K than 8K.
Yeah. Where is nationals this year?
Oklahoma, I think.
I think that's why so many
Yeah.
people were at the Jamboree.
Oh, that makes
Because they
sense.
were getting prepped for that course.
Stillwater. Is that where it was 2 years ago or something?
Yeah, 2
Yeah.
years ago. Yeah.
They're
In
doing-
March.
They're doing
Yeah.
the F1 thing where they're just walking around, checking the bends, looking at the straights.
Riding the bike on it.
Or the electric scooter.
Yeah.
Imagine.
Roscoe's coming behind. There's a bulldog coming behind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just checking it out, dude. I also don't really. I mean, no. Okay, so there is definitely truth to the value of racing on the course before you do it, but I also don't really believe in it a little bit, just because I got so scarred. I don't know if you guys would know this story, but I think it was my sophomore year. That was the worst year for Wisconsin cross country.
That was Garth Morgan.
That was when, I wasn't just me. Everyone was mad, sad boy vibes. That was when we ended the 50-year streak of qualifying for nationals, and nationals was at Louisville. And to the cherry on top, the funniest part about it was the team earlier in the season got so much shit because we went to the Louisville meet, the Greater Louisville Classic, which is a real early season meet, and we just jogged it. We just tempoed it as a team, and Mick got shit after, and he said to like the flow track or whoever was doing the interview, he said, yeah, we just wanted to see the course for nationals, and then we didn't qualify for nationals. It was that
2015 or 2017? Which Louisville?
No, 2015.
Oh, the early one.
That's
was
so funny.
The best.
So
it was
funny.
like
So
that was
funny,
the cherry on top.
actually.
It was, man. But Mick was honestly so good about it. Like when kids, I remember someone asked him like, "Wow, like that year was so bad. Like everything that could have gone wrong, like went wrong." And Mick was just like, "Yeah, when it rains, it pours," you know. And that was literally what that year was. It's like everything that could have been bad was bad. And
He handled that. He handles a lot of adversity pretty well, Mick.
he does. man.
Pretty impressive, honestly. Because then
Yeah.
he knows that the sun will rise tomorrow,
Yeah.
and it did.
It's just
So,
running, but
It's just rain.
that was funny. So yeah, it's exciting to have NCAA cross back. I think we'll try follow it a little bit because I think we've probably said this a year ago following it, but it's just one of the coolest things in the sport. I think we wish that some of the things that make NCAA cross so cool could be applied to the pro side of the sport, the team battles and just like the head-to-head competition of just every single best runner in the country being there, having to turn up on the day. It's just so cool.
Yeah, I mean,
should we mount that challenge right now then for cross camps?
Are we racing that December 1st?
I think it is in the plan, in the cards.
I don't want to
Well,
like
I
say
don't want to
anything too
commit to
early.
it.
Oh,
Yeah.
just
Just a little teaser.
A little teaser. It'd be great to have OAC, Tin Can Elite, the Arm Movement Track Club, and I guess there's not many other teams left. Oh,
BC
I
Beast?
forgot about
Brooks.
Brooks Beast.
I don't know if they run cross though, but
Yeah, I mean Josh Kerr.
I think Walid
Could
is
see him
gonna be
not
there.
running cross.
Yeah.
sweet.
Goodbye.
But
Yeah.
in general, like I was gonna say before moving on to that, can you bet on college cross country? Because that'd be so much fun to bet on that. Just like to see the change of odds and like people to win All American, podium finishes for teams. It'd be so much fun to bet on. Because I know you can bet on like football and basketball. It'd be sick to bet on cross country. And if you could bet on it and the funds go towards the maybe the runners' accommodation or like nice things for them.
I think NCAA takes care of that.
Do they?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Do they really?
How hard is it to get a gambling license? Can we set that up?
We probably could, but then we'll end up,
We'll just make some odds
20
up,
years,
do it
20
on
years in the
table.
future, we'll end up just having an origin story being like the modern Peaky Blinders, setting up a gambling arena in
Sounds
Longmont.
perfect. We'll be so rich.
That actually
We
sounds.
would be rich, but we're also talking about it now in a podcast where the cops could easily find.
No, but I said get a license. So.
Yeah, I think it's pretty hard to get a license.
All right.
To be fair, I mean, we could check about it if we just put in our,
Speak to the right people.
put in our pretty eyes and just wink at them and make them feel good.
Yeah, we'll send
Maybe
Ollie
we can
in
get it.
to woo them because. Yeah, I mean, I don't
That
know
would be
how,
sick.
how successful it would be, but I think if there was one thing that would be really cool, it would be NCAA cross. Yeah, it would be really cool. We
You
could
could-
wait to
you
see the
honestly-
odds change.
Betting on cross country and NCAA cross would be great. Like you'd have a
The
betting
teams.
for and against. Does Cooper Tier like make it to the finish line?
No, don't say
For and
that.
against.
Don't say that.
Does like one of the runners like fall over during the first stampede? For and against.
That would
Does
be
NAU
cool.
sweep
That'd be a
1
good
till
one.
7? For and against.
Does Mike Smith say go to sleep, go to sleep?
Yeah, for and against like sayings from the coach. Does the coach chuck a wobbly? Like have an absolute fit. For and against the commentators getting someone's name wrong. For and against like do the coaches take responsibility for everything that happened that season.
I find it so funny when they have odds like that are so easily fixed.
Yeah.
Like, have you guys seen that, for example, for the football final, sometimes you can bet on the color of the Gatorade that they throw on the coach. It's like you can just fix that so easily.
A friend of mine literally bet on it to be blue, and it was blue at the Super Bowl, and he won $5,000. That was like unbelievable. I was like, he's like, I got a feeling it's gonna be blue this year, and it was.
Yeah.
So
they must have to make it so secretly.
Yeah. I think that type of gambling would be so much fun. Like just to bet on like just really dumb things, and then it just make it so much more entertaining for the regular college kid. I'm not talking about us, but if the regular college kid knew about the gambling system, aka like, I don't know, Snyder or Blumdrew, who didn't know runners,
our friends,
and they were just like following it to bet on it, to gamble on it, I reckon they'd have a great time. But,
certainly.
you know, if NCAA wants to work with something for us to be able to do something like that, you know, just let us know.
You know where to find us.
You know where to find me.
We'll be here.
Yeah.
We'll be here. But, so that's NCAA cross. Very exciting. It should be a very good year with how the competition has started off. So we look forward to that. But we got Mario here. So Mario's coming off one of the best. Well, I don't know if you've crunched the numbers, Mario, but you could probably say it's like maybe the best ever collegiate 1500 meter season if you take everything into account, potentially. I haven't really thought about that until right now, but to rip off some stats, you were in college and you got NCAA title, and then you ended up running freaking like 3:30 and coming fourth at Worlds.
Yeah.
So I can't think of many other. I mean, I guess Cole Hawker had a somewhat similar season with the Olympics.
Yeah, but he got sixth.
Yeah, didn't get fourth,
but he won like 3 titles.
Yeah,
3 titles in 1 year.
You won a lot of races as well. But I mean, the races that you did win were amazing. You also won the Spanish 1500 meter title against probably the best depth at the top of all time. I mean, Spain's had a lot of good 1500 meter runners, but some of the best ones are running right now. So, yeah, I mean, how's it? Like, has the season kind of set in? Have you kind of like moved past it, or is it like, are you still coming to terms of like what you were able to achieve?
Well, I've assimilated a little more, you know, because especially coming from NCAAs, I finished second, and that was a little disappointment, I would say, because I don't know, like I feel like I had to win the race, you know, and then I ran 3:36 the following week, and I was honestly kind of down, and then winning the Spanish Champs was just like such a like big deal, because I mean the Spanish Champs is like the biggest race you can win in Spain, no? And
the circumstances of that, because you had to, if you wanted to qualify for the world champs, you had to do really well at Spanish champs.
Oh yeah, I had given up on the option of running worlds. I was just thinking about Europeans, because I was like, well, like there's no way the race is gonna go fast, and I'm gonna run under 3:35, or like I'm gonna get enough points to qualify. And then I end up running 3:35.5, got 100 points for that, qualified for worlds, went to worlds, went through the rounds, made to the final, and yeah, I mean, in the final, my goal was to just finish like top 8 maybe. And then when I saw, I was like feeling pretty good and just catching people. Like that was, it just felt like, I don't know, I feel like I didn't belong there, kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, now it's like after all the summer and after thinking about it in my break, I have like reflected about it a little more. And yeah, I mean, the biggest takeaway I would say was just like, you gotta trust that your fitness is there. Like it doesn't matter like if you have a bad result, like maybe NCAA wasn't a good result, and maybe like the 3:36 wasn't a good result, but I ended up running like the best I ever ran. So, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean that progression is crazy to like, because there are a lot of 3:36 runners out there, but to like, or I guess you were 3:35 then heading to world champs. There's a lot of people like kind of around that level, but then to like that's where you enter the championships, and then 3 races later, you're 4th in 3:30.
Yeah.
That's like, you've said to me multiple times, you said, yeah, the training that I did, like I shouldn't have run that.
Yeah, and I still think that.
Really?
I think, well, so in college, it's just like, I mean, you guys have been in the same place, but it's just hard to like train very hard because you're racing every single week. Like, it got to the point from Penn relay. Well, I raced at a home meet, and then I raced Penn relays, and then I raced regionals, and then nationals, and then Spanish champs. Well, I raced after nationals and then Spanish champs. So I was racing every 2 weeks, so we couldn't really do like any hard sessions. But yeah, I mean, I guess like racing also gives you like that fitness that maybe you don't get from training. And I think Benhoy was very smart about that, and he really knew how to use it. And yeah, I mean, that just shows that maybe we shouldn't focus that much on like the training, but like how you feel and like just trying to like get in, you know, like in a good mindset coming into the championships.
Yeah. I mean, it's just crazy to see, and I think this is a stat people will love. How many times did you race that season?
Oh, I think I raced 28 times.
28
Yeah,
times.
from January to September, pretty much. Yeah.
I raced 4 times, so
yeah.
I want to know how many. Do you know how many you have?
No.
You probably raced
maybe 20.
above 10. Yeah, you would have raced above 10, but less than 20, or maybe 20 max, I would say.
Are you including rounds or just
Yeah,
rounds?
including rounds.
Do you George? I mean, you raced a lot of 5Ks. Which you
Don't
raced
talk about
you raced a lot of 5Ks for a 5K. Like 1500 and 5K is obviously very different.
Yeah, I think, dude, that was insane. The fact that like you weren't sure whether you were going to be at Worlds or not, and even I think when you were ranked in the 30s, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
35, I think. Yeah.
And wasn't like you weren't sure if Spain were going to take you or not because wasn't the requirement top 30?
Well, yeah, like Spain had like a special requirement. It was you had to be top 35 in the world ranking. So we were just like doing numbers, like trying to see like if I was gonna make it, like seeing if people was gonna drop in front of me. And I think I finally made it like 32nd with people that dropped in front of me. But yeah, like until the last moment, I didn't know if I was gonna race.
Well, like because the 3 runners behind you are all runners that easily Spain would very happily have them representing. It was
Ignacio, Adele.
Yeah, I forgot Adele
Mokatir.
Macau.
And Mokatir.
Who would like just, and Spain especially doesn't Spain love like Adele?
Yeah, I mean Adele is just a guy that performs so well in every single championship he goes to. So yeah, like it was a big debate, and at first they left Ignacio out of the team. So that was a big controversy.
And when they announced it and he wasn't on it.
Yeah, and then I think Adele tested positive for COVID, so they just decided to bring Ignacio instead of Adele.
So why did they not pick Ignacio?
Well, I think they just thought that Adele was a better like championship racer,
right.
Which honestly, like Ignacio has made the Olympic final in his first Olympics and his first like major championship. So I don't know if
he's pretty young, right?
Yeah, he's like 1 year older than me. So yeah, I mean, but that's what happens when you have such a competitive field and like just such depth. And honestly, that's just good for us because it pushes you forward. Like coming into the championship, I was like, well, like if I want to be a Spanish champion, I gotta beat 330 low guys, like 330 guys. So
it ended up being like Spain was the only country with 3 people in the final, right?
Yeah, we were the only country with 3 people. I think the UK was like
2.
Almost,
2.
yeah.
They almost had 3. Yeah, if Neil made it, it would have been 3.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool stat.
Yeah.
Just shows you how like we talk about all the time how competitive the UK is to make that 1500 meter team. Mm-hmm. Spain is definitely in that conversation now as well with how talented the Spanish boys have been running. So it's pretty cool to see like a country like that just absolutely dominate, make that one of the hardest finals. Mm-hmm. It's pretty sick to see. I mean, I definitely thought going in at like watching that final, just seeing the 3 Spanish boys, is like if you have 3 Spanish guys in there, all great racers, could probably run low 330s. One of them's going to come away with a medal for sure. Yeah. You know, like the same with with the UK boys going into Tokyo. Definitely had the same mindset. You had 3 UK boys in that final. You're definitely thinking they're all 3 incredible runners. Probably one of them's going to come away with a medal, and that was the case in both counts. So, and you were very close.
Yeah,
you were on the cusp.
I was really close.
Yeah.
Like I thought I had it. Like last 100 meters, I was like, oh, I'm getting him. Like those last 100 meters was so long. But yeah, I mean, I'm still like so happy with the result. Like it was a crazy summer, and I'm just excited just to train with Ollie, train with Jared, and like the rest of the boys, and just trying to like beat Jacob, I guess. Like that's
everyone's goal.
He's the main target, I guess. And Jake, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean the 1500 is such a cool event right now. Like I feel it's like one of the most exciting events in track and field.
Yeah, I think it definitely is.
Being like one of the best in the world, because now I think I belong to that. Like it's just like it's so cool. Like I'm just excited for the summer to come.
Well, we didn't even mention that you like medaled at Europeans as well. Yeah. So it's like to come in and be able to like catapult yourself to the very top, where it's like you don't even have to worry about everything else. Like literally you're thinking about like beating Jakob now. It's pretty sweet just to come out of college and be
at
right
that
to
level.
that level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
yeah. Well, one thing I think I've learned is you gotta go into the race thinking that you can do it. If you go into the race thinking that you are not gonna get a medal or beat Jakob, like you definitely are not gonna do it. And at Europeans, I went out to the track with that mindset. He destroyed me, but still, I kept up with him like for 1,300 meters, and I think that was like pretty cool. And just my family and my friends were there, so like they saw me fighting at least for like the goal, which I think should be the main goal for every single runner in that field.
Yeah, I mean, if you go for it, like, and you're at that level, and because watching it, we were obviously like, well, you could have come second, but you tried to win, and you ended up coming third. It's like, I mean, I think at the end of the day, you're gonna feel pretty
I almost
good
came
about
fourth.
that.
The Italian guy was closing so fast. Right?
Yeah, but it's like,
I think you'd feel better about the way you did it.
Oh
like
yeah,
going,
definitely.
At least putting up a challenge for the win, and then maybe you do get caught in the last 100 meters, but
yeah,
I think it's worth going for it.
yeah. One other thing that I loved was hearing your kind of pre-race routine at the World Champs. If you wanna, I don't know, is it top secret or are you okay with sharing?
I've said it many times already.
It's honestly very impressive. When Morgan told me that, I was like, wow, that's something.
Well,
You just get so focused.
yeah, and it's a soft focus, honestly, because like, for example, something I realized is like in the warm-up area, everybody's so locked in. Like nobody looks at each other. Like at the World Final especially, like nobody was looking at each other, nobody was talking or anything. And I just try to be focused, but like it's a soft focus. I want to try to be like calm, like just if it was a workout. Yeah. But yeah, like before the race, I watched Gladiator because it's my favorite movie. And also coming into the stadium, I listened to the Gladiator soundtrack. But I guess it's so just good. It's just like it's something that is like epic for me. So, and it was very cool because after the NCAA final, I was devastated, honestly. Like I was so like upset with the finish and everything because it was also my last race with Ole Miss. And I went to the very end of the warm-up area, and I sat down for like 10 minutes by myself, like just thinking and kind of like meditating. And then when I walked into the stadium for the final, we walked through that entrance. So I was listening to the Gladiator song before the final, walking through the place. I was like so upset.
The redemption.
So it just felt like the right moment. It felt like the right conditions, the right moment, and yeah.
And you did that. You did the same thing for the semis and the finals, right?
Yeah, I guess the semifinal was like a final, pretty much. I was talking to George about it this morning. Like the semifinal was like, I think the heaviest race, probably one of the heaviest races of the year. Like you had the 3 Olympic medalists, you had Oli, you had Tefera, you had Charles, Ignacio, myself. Like it was just like Neil Gorley, who I've been racing like great all year long. Like it was just insane. So like Ignacio and me, we were like sitting in the room and we were like, yeah, like if we want to make it to the final, like we gotta beat at least like some of these guys. So yeah, it was like a final for me.
Yeah, you definitely have to go all in.
That's the 1500 these days. Like you get to the last couple of rounds and it's anyone's race. It seems like Gladiator. That's like being on the track though. It's like being in the Collegiate.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
But something I really like.
Yeah, modern
day gladiators.
Yeah.
Dude, you gotta like when you get to race at Rome, man.
Yeah.
That's gonna be the pinnacle.
Well, Europeans are gonna be in Rome in 2024.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I know I'm gonna get on paper.
don't overwatch Gladiator. Just like save it for that.
I'm gonna save it for that. I'm gonna save it for that.
You gotta do the thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the track and just like
grab some of the
dust.
Grab some of the track.
Yeah.
Just rubbing your hair.
No, I go to the long jump pit. I'm just
It's like Mario's over there rubbing hands with the sand. I don't know what that is about, Tom, but we're gonna see why he's rubbing his hands with sand in this 1500 meter race coming up.
Bring some weed and just touch it.
It works. Yeah, because you got the other thing about you is your hometown or your area is like grows wheat, and then in the Gladiator. I'm forgetting the guy's name right now.
Maximus.
But he comes from like a farm, right?
It's like very close to my.
It's like close to his hometown.
It's fictional.
They call him the Spaniard.
He's from
So
Spain.
you're literally the main character of Gladiator.
and I grew up racing in like wheat fields. Like it was just like all full of wheat.
Everything's connected.
Everything is connected.
All right, so based on that, I'm sorry, but you can't copy his pre-race routine because it's just not going to work for you. You got to find your own version.
I had the copyright for that race routine.
You got to find your own version.
No one can take it from you. No one can take it from you.
Yeah, no, that's so epic. So, yeah, I mean, obviously you've come into the pro scene pretty much already like near the top, like right where you want to be. So it's so cool and very excited for the year ahead. I know like your goals are just so high already, which is awesome. So we're very excited to train with you, and just to see it happen. I can't wait. Any other questions from Mara at the moment? I feel like we'll probably have you on quite a bit the show, hopefully.
Yeah.
If we can sort it out with your booking agent and all that.
Yeah.
Yes. How's your experience been with the team so far out of 10?
Yeah.
Out of 10.
Because we've done Yared, we've done Sinter.
-2.
-2. Alright, so that's the lowest.
That's actually not bad.
I'm actually flying
Sinter's
to
was
Oxford
pretty
now
low.
because I cannot stay here. Like it's just so bad.
You have to go back every 2 weeks to just like
Yared's done the opposite, where Yared was like 9 out of 10, and then now it's slowly gone down from 8 to 7.
Yeah.
So then now I think Sinter was pretty low. So you're pretty low, so there's room for improvement, which I like.
-2 feels good. That's not much pressure.
Yeah, I don't feel much pressure with that.
I gotta be honest, I wasn't with the team a lot this summer, but still it was one of the best summers of my life. Just been in Switzerland, like racing, like that's always been my dream. And I don't know, like for example, Lausanne was my first Diamond League. So my brother was there, of course, like that was special as well. But like having, like I don't know, your teammates with you, like having Oli, for example, because you're for me, like you're one of the best 1500 runners in the world, like top 3 maybe.
Making me blush.
And, and like having him, like warming up with him, going grabbing a coffee with him, it's just like it's a good like person to have next to you, and like you learn a lot definitely. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, having a team so deep, it's just like, it just pushes you forward because like everybody in your team is like doing so well.
It's really cool because like I think, looking back at how we've started and where we are now, we have a team where we're going to be at a lot of meets together. And I think that's one thing that people honestly crave when I go to those Diamond League meets is like you have people on their own that just have like the coaches in there, their teammates aren't there and they're kind of alone. And they obviously you have friends and you can catch up with people because everybody's just lovely on the Diamond League or in any meet really. Everybody's just super nice. That's the way the sport is with distance running. But having like you and I go to meets, Yared, George and Morgan, like having that kind of just reliance on them in a good way, going into those, it just makes you feel so much more, for me personally, readiness and prepared, composed, all those kind of elements, you feel much more real. So we're very lucky to have a team like that, and we're very lucky to have you because we definitely didn't think we're going to be able to get you and Yared, and to have you guys on the team, it's like, wow, like we've definitely got the setup now. Yeah. We don't need anything else.
Our 4x-mile.
4x-mile, yeah. We're going to have to talk about that eventually.
Attention to the world record, right?
A spot on that team is...
It's going to be tryouts. It's going to be tryouts to make that team. I mean, no one's guaranteed a spot now, so...
Ben relays.
Now we don't know who's fuck. Yeah. Now we got to go for world record.
We have to go for it now.
I think we should do a DMR.
DMR? I'd love to do a DMR.
That would be pretty fun.
400 meters would have to be...
Bring Carlos back.
Bring Carlos back to 400. Yeah.
Who is that world record?
I think Central was in the team, right? Like
I think the USA has...
No. The indoor world record or outdoor world record? Because indoor is Oregon.
Yeah. They've run like so quick now, like 9:20.
Yeah, because we run 9:20 as well. Like we were like
that's ridiculous that you guys run 9:20. I remember when 9:25 or 9:26 was crazy, and then you guys just absolutely destroy that.
Yeah.
But DMR world record, that'd be kind of cool. Except, wait, is it the thing for that as well, where to get the world record, you technically all have to be from the same country?
Yeah, you have to.
That's so annoying. But I don't know. Maybe there's a reason for that.
Spain could do it. Spain, you could honestly get Spain to do it if you want to go for the actual world record. We'd be going for a world best.
I love the world best.
Yeah, I'll take a world best.
I'll take it enough. Yeah,
if I have to.
We'll go for both.
Yeah. It's probably a little harder to get us all together. Yeah. Unless it's a championship. I think honestly, DMR is one event that should be added to like the world championship.
We've had the discussion.
It should be a world indoors. Yeah. World indoor DMR championship would be
that would be so cool.
Sick.
Yeah.
I think
if you can have the mixed 4x400,
you can have
anything.
We've talked about this. I hate that event with a passion. I'm not going to rant about it now.
This is annoying because they also have 2 4x4s.
Yeah. It's like, why are you adding another 400 meter event? Add something for like the distance. I mean, DMR is fun to watch too. So like, just
it was for Alison Felix to get another medal.
And I just it literally was probably put there so she'd get another medal for her last hurrah. Yeah. Fair enough. She's an amazing athlete. However, we have Seb Coe as a president who is a middle distance runner, and he's thinking, mixed 4x4? Yeah, that sounds good. We won't put a DMR in there. Classic troll.
Look at Penn relays. Like the DMR was so cool,
dude. And then like the amount like Kenya, the UK, United States, Australia. Unfortunately, I don't know if New Zealand would have a team, but in general, a lot of the European teams would be very strong, and it'd be very, very cool event because I think it would make it much more of a like a national, like I think a national pride there on the line. So Yeah. So Lord Seb, could you get onto that for us, please? You know, I love your ideas with the mixed 4x4 and the Drive to Survive show that will probably never come to fruition, but the DMR thing might be a good idea if you want to check that out.
Yeah. So.
Because I think a lot of people would want it.
Yeah.
Seb, just give them a little nudge. Citrus Mag can do that. They're pretty big budget.
I think they have a pretty big sway in the sport. I think they're the guys that can get shit done.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. So Citrus Mag, could you do that for us, please? DMR. Talk to Seb.
Jacob.
I mean,
he could definitely.
He could definitely push it too,
forward,
but I mean, Jakob would probably look at it and go, "What's in it for me?" And I was like,
he'd just run all
I'd look
four
at him
legs.
straight in the eye and I'd be like, "Glory's in it for you. Get all your brothers in it."
Yeah, and Garcia Romo, like
that'd be
cool.
cool.
A good team.
It'd be a very good team.
Yeah. So coming off that, a classic rant on world athletics, a nice way to end the show. Mario, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
It's been very fun to have you here. Thank you everyone for listening. We'll see you guys next time.